This video is sponsored by Atlas VPN. You know, they say that overland content in the Elder Scrolls Online is some of the easiest content in the game. Well, in this video, I'm here to show you that's not always the case. In this video, we're counting down my top 10 most difficult DLC world bosses in ESO. So if you're looking for a challenge, try taking on some of these monsters by yourself or with a companion, because, you know, companions can help too. So coming in first at number 10, we are in the zone of Hughes Bane at the Thrall Cove world boss. This is right on the coast, fighting some pirates, and specifically the captain of the ship here. Now, interestingly, the ship also fights you. It throws beams of lightning at you from afar, which are probably the most damaging ability in this entire fight. So definitely watch out for those. She'll call those out, and you'll have just enough time to dodge those. Watch out for her conal attack, as well as the whirlwind, which also stuns. But if you stay in this little green circle in the middle, in melee range, you should be pretty good to go on this one. Definitely a fun fight with some challenges built in. On to number 9, we are in the zone of Clockwork City at Xarcs Egress, basically fighting these guys. I don't know what you call these, but they are nasty in the fact that there are 3 of them with multiple, overlapping area of effect abilities is pretty tough to beat, especially while solo. I did die a couple times here as I was just getting used to the fight. I haven't fought these guys in quite a while. The most damaging ability by far is that swarm that is a little bit hard to see since everything kind of blends in here. So keep your distance, especially if you are a melee class. You might find this even more challenging, but dodge those AoEs and keep up your healing or a damage shield if you do find yourself too close to them, because otherwise you will die almost instantly. A companion here like Bastion or Miri can be helpful, by the way, if you equip them with a ranged weapon, either a bow or a staff. They can provide some support heals or added protection, just like today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Did you know that without a solid VPN service, all of your internet traffic can potentially be exposed? Basically, any digital pickpocket on the internet can see all of your online activity and potentially access your personal information to do some pretty bad things. Yeah, you don't want that. But with Atlas VPN, your internet traffic and sensitive personal data are always encrypted and protected. Atlas VPN has millions of satisfied users worldwide and are so confident in their services that they're offering up a huge discount on their 3-year deal right now for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This deal will not be around much longer, so make sure to check it out by clicking the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Insanely cost-effective and powerful online security not enough for you? Did I mention that Atlas VPN also offers unrestricted access to the entire web, including some of the best content on the internet that can be regionally blocked by your country or ISP? I'm talking about sites like SheoTube, Nordflix, Dremora Plus, something called Hulu, which I've never heard of. Everything is on there. Simply choose a server from the Atlas VPN app to access any geo-blocked content on the internet. Again, all of this is available for a limited time at the outstanding price of just $1.39 per month, with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're in the market for a VPN right now, and you definitely should be, then do me a favor and check out Atlas VPN using my link down below. Thanks for checking them out, and thanks again to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. Number 8 on our list is the Dwarven Colossus, found in Blackreach. One of my favorite world bosses in the game, actually. I just love the look of this guy and the how the fight plays out. It's a lot of fun to play this, but it is also a good challenge and a good test of your build in terms of your survivability. Lots and lots of AoE damage that you'll need to either absorb or heal through in some case. So I am on a stamina build. Having Brawler for the extra damage shield is quite clutch in this situation, as well as having some nice passive heals like Vigor, and then Rally, of course, as a burst heal if I need it. Now, the ads are not too bad in this fight, though they can stun you, so watch out for those. But pretty much just do as much damage as quickly as possible while maintaining your health, while putting on a damage shield once in a while, and you should be pretty good to go on this one. For number 7 on our list, we're staying in Blackreach, moving from the Colossus up to the Vampire Feeding Grounds. A pretty challenging combination fight here as part of the Greymoor chapter. This is all about vampires, obviously, and there's actually 3 fights, 3 world bosses in one here, starting with Doomclaw. His basic attacks are not too bad, not very strong. You will need to watch out for the ground pound effect, though. This can easily 1 to 2 shot many players, so you'll need to probably roll dodge quickly out of that. That's probably the best way. Second boss is maybe the easiest here. You do have a lot of AoE spells on the ground, AoE effects, Lich Crystals, things like that that can stun you and do a lot of damage at the same time, especially if they overlap. So this is another one of those cases where being a melee build is actually more challenging than a ranged build. And then finally, the third encounter we have is the Grey Host with this Vampire Lord. Dude, he is quite strong. He has multiple AoE attacks. First, the Bat Swarm, the slow-moving swarm that if this does touch you, about 2 hits will kill you. And then he does also have like a jump attack, which you'll see right here. If you can use something like a Gap Closer, if you're a melee build, that way you can kind of kite the swarm away from him, Gap Close back into him, do some damage, heal up if you need to, and then rinse and repeat. That's the best way I found, at least for this one. On to number 6, and at this point, things are getting significantly harder. We are in the Wrothguard zone at the Poachers Camp world boss. Tons of enemies to fight through here first. Actually, this initial approach is one of the hardest things you'll have to do, is fighting all of these casters, all the melee enemies at one time. Make sure you have some juicy shields to protect you against all of that incoming damage. That's going to be the best way by far. Now, once you get all the adds down, you do unleash Snagara, and she has a couple of interesting attacks. A poison-based AoE damage, which can hurt. Also some snaring effects, and obviously some world boss-style knockdowns. Now, when the Wrothguard DLC first came out, this is where we first started to see really challenging world bosses, and the way that they did this, the way they designed these, was they just put in a bunch of adds. Adds that really can hurt. You have archers here, you have casters, and of course you have healers, which are going to basically undo all the damage that you did. So your priority in a fight like this is going to be to take care of any adds that come into the fight, so they don't stack up too much at a time and just kill you instantly with all the range damage. So if you can manage the adds while keeping yourself healed, you should be okay on this one as well. That's going to be your best strategy for this one. Number 5 on our list brings us to the Southern Elsewhere zone, Atarashi's training grounds. And if you ever wondered what it would be like to fight against a group of monks in the Elder Scrolls universe, then look no further. This fight is definitely a challenge. Again, not so much because of the main world boss, but because of these tough adds that are a part of the fight. The main boss's followers, basically. They do tons of AoE damage. They also have a ranged fireball attack that's absolutely nasty. Knockdowns, pretty much the whole thing here. Now, you would think if you can kill them off first, well, then you'll be good. But no, more will just come out of the gates as soon as you kill off the first group of 4. But this does give you a little bit of a strategy. So what I've done is basically try to kill off 2 to 3 of the adds first. That way it really lowers down the overall damage of the encounter. It makes it much easier, especially if you can have just one add left over. Let that add just kind of do its thing, ignore it, and meanwhile you take down the main boss's health as much as possible. Rinse and repeat as much as you can on this one, and it's a really good fight. Number 4 on our list brings us to the brand new zone of Blackwood for the Blackwood chapter at the Toad Tongue War Camp, fighting a bunch of goblins and the war chief. This fight took me a little bit of time to figure out, and it honestly may have been more luck than anything else. This fight you need to kite. You need to kite the main boss and his 2 goblin dog pals as much as possible, because they do tons of upfront damage to you. Potential one-shots in many different ways in this encounter. First priority is going to be to defeat the dogs, though you will have more and more like goblins and ogres enter the fight. You may need to kill some of the casters here as well, because they will try to snare you as well as heal the main boss. But basically, just try to survive as long as possible. Like I said, kiting, staying away from his AoE attacks. from his dizzy swing style attack. Those will one-shot you for sure. Now, my companion didn't last the whole fight this time, but she was a helpful distraction, I will say. The main boss did try to chase her a few times, which gave me some breathing room to do what I needed to do. So definitely a challenge. See if you can do this one. Number 3 is next, and we are in the zone of Somerset at Griffin's Run. Probably one of the, let's just say, sweatiest boss fights in terms of overland content in the game. A lot of fun, too, I will say. You have 2 Griffins here that you'll be facing off against. They may be flying around. You may need to get their attention first, or they may just be here on the ground to start with. But basically, at first, you'll be fighting against one at a time. The first Griffin is not too challenging. She has a couple of claw attacks, a couple of conal effects. Really nothing to worry about with this one. However, the second Griffin is much harder. A lot more mobility, a lot more area, damage on the ground, multiple knockdowns, wave effects, tons of AoE damage on the ground, which you are seeing right now. Good luck if you have a companion. They're not going to last long on this one. But once you get the second Griffin down a little bit low health, then both Griffins actually come back and try to fight you at once. And this is where you need to be careful, because if you get knocked down and you don't have a damage shield or a heal over time rolling, and some of those AoEs overlap, you are done. So when you have both of them, try to focus down one as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter which one. You just don't want them both to be fighting you at the same time because it's too much going on. If you can get that far, if you can get it down to one Griffin, you're pretty much home free at this point. But yeah, very challenging fight. Good fun to play through this one. Good luck if you want to try it yourself. Boss number 2 on our list is the unfinished Dolmen in the Zone of Hrothgar. And I would say at this point, we are getting into the category of bosses that I would say is just unfair. Still doable in this case, but definitely not a fair fight for you. Now, to start things off, you will have plenty of enemies here. The Worm Cult has taken over this Dolmen. You'll need to defeat the Daedra that start portaling in. And it's pretty cool just to see how this all develops from beginning to end. Now, once you defeat all the Daedra, that's when the real fight actually starts. And you have the Ash Titan. The Giant Titan takes the field. And this is where things start to get interesting. Now, much like other world bosses in this zone, in Hrothgar, this boss is not that tough. He's probably the toughest in the zone, but what really hurts in this case is the ad waves that come in. You have these extremely annoying scamps that start to be summoned in through portals on the field. You'll have anywhere from like 5 to 10 of these little scamps fighting you at a time, and they explode for massive AoE shock damage. Now, there are a couple ways you can do this. Yes, you can destroy the portals, and that will stop the scamps from spawning in, but then more portals just appear. And the portals come in so quick that I found it just to be kind of a waste of time if you're solo to try to take out the portals first. Better, in my opinion, to try to survive the damage from the scamps if you can. Again, either using big shields, big damage reduction, or ideally some passive healing over time on your build. Combining those should let you survive all of the damage that's coming in while letting you lay down some damage over time effects so you can still damage the main boss at the same time. So this is another one of those fights, guys, where if you have the right amount of survival, if you have the right amount of healing and damage all combined on your solo build, you can do this. Don't give up, just keep trying. And finally, that brings us to the number 1 toughest world boss, DLC world boss on our list. This is Walks Like Thunder from the Zone of Murkmire. And actually, this is the only boss on this list that I could not defeat solo. Even with a companion, even with mythic gear, nothing I could do could defeat this boss. So in a sense, it is a little bit unfair. I thought I would throw it in here just to show what I think an unkillable boss looks like in the game. Now, why is it unkillable? The boss itself is easy. The totems are easy. They die quickly. The only problem is the totems heal the boss to full about once every 30 seconds or so. And you can destroy the totems, but there's so many that as a solo player, in this case, you can't destroy the totems quickly enough. So if you destroy one, there's at least 5 others, and the boss is going to heal back to full every few seconds no matter what. The only thing that can defeat this boss, even if you have a group of players, is to do as much damage as possible. You'll need at least 4, I would say 6 to 8 players to out-damage the healing of the totems in order to complete this encounter. So, is it a fair encounter? Absolutely not. I haven't seen anybody able to solo it in its current version. If you have, or you know somebody that has, let me know in the comments section down below, as well as how they did it. I would definitely be interested to know. And with that said, that's going to wrap up our list of the top 10 toughest world bosses, DLC world bosses in the Elder Scrolls Online. Now, if you like this content and you're wondering about base game world bosses, I do have a video for that. I have a link for that one down in the description in case you want to check out those world bosses. If you think I missed anything on this list, please let us know down in the comments section below. What do you think are the most difficult world bosses in ESO? Tell us why and where to find them. As always, if you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to crush that like button. Make sure you're subscribed right here for many more ESO builds and guides just like this one. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.